classes, and I'm just going to start with chapter number 5. If you talk about from your books, so it is chapter number 5. Otherwise, if you talk about syllabus, so it is syllabus number 2, right? I just want to start with the word atom, right? I just want to start your classes with the word atom. Don't worry about chapter number 1, kinetic particle theory. Don't worry about chapter number 2 and 3, right? We will talk about that chapter later on, but I just want to start your chemistry with chapter number 5, which is atomic structure, right? So what is atom? Bacho, any one of you, you know what is atom? Atom kya hota hai? Yes, Hafsa, can you please tell me what is atom today? Yes, Hafsa, can you please tell me what is atom?
It is the smallest particle.
Yes, this is the smallest particle. This is what? This is the smallest particle. Atom is what? This is the smallest particle of what? The smallest particle of
Metal.
an element, right? Not metal only, it is element, right? It is a general word, element. Now, what is element? If you talk about element, so what is element? Element is the pure substance that is made up of by the similar atoms, right? And it cannot be further broken down, right? So pure substance that cannot be further broken down. And if you talk about elements, now elements are of 3 types, right? These are actually of 3 types. Now you can say the word metals, you can say the word metalloids, you can say the word non-metals, right? If you talk about elements, तो अल्लाह पाक ने आपको इस दुनिया में 118 elements दिए हैं, ठीक है ना? We have 118 elements, 118 elements in the periodic table, जो कि हमें मिले हैं नेचर की तरफ से, ठीक है ना? 118 elements हैं, और वो 118 elements जो हैं metal, non-metal और metalloids में distributed है, ठीक है ना बच्चों? So I just want to ask from one of you, I just want to ask from Ali. Ali, can you please tell me कि आपने कोई एलिमेंट देखा है आज तक? Yes, Ali. Have you ever seen any element by your naked eyes? So देखिए बच्चों, अगर आपको कोई भी बात मुझसे करनी है, so you need to talk to me by unmuting your mic. You cannot message me on the chat box because I am not able to see that. If you want to message me on my WhatsApp, so you are free to message, but don't message on chat box, right? So kindly unmute your mic and answer, right? Okay, so I see from I know that you must message me over there. Yes, please.
Sir, copper.
Yes, आप में से बहुत सारों ने कॉपर देखा होगा. Copper exists in the wires now in our daily life. So you must see over there the element copper, and you also see the aluminum windows and doors. These are very common nowadays. Also, you are very familiar with the iron. You also very familiar with the carbon. You see carbon in coal or diamond. You also very familiar with the silver. You're also very familiar with gold. These are elements that you see in your daily lives, right? So we have 118 elements in the periodic table that are for us from the nature, right? And these elements are you can say that are classified into metals, non-metals, and metalloids, right? So metals, non-metals, and metalloids can be solid, liquid, and gas. They can be solid, liquid, and gas as well. But so we have metals in the periodic table, which is 75% of the periodic table. If you have 118 elements in the periodic table, 75% जो आपकी weightage है वो metals की periodic table में, ठीक है ना? उसमें से every metal is solid except mercury. We have just mercury, which is a liquid metal, and the rest of all metals are solid, right? And if you talk about metalloids, the metalloids are the substances that have the properties of like metals and non-metals both. They have combined properties of metals and non-metals, right? There is no liquid metalloid exists. There is no gaseous metalloid exists. All the metalloids are solid. And if you talk about non-metals, so we have 4 solid non-metals: carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, and iodine. These 4 non-metals are solid, and the only liquid non-metal is bromine at room temperature and pressure, and the rest of all are gases. If you talk about the rest of all non-metals, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, right? These are what? Gases: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, right? So they all are gases. Is that clear, Bacho?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have 16 to 17 non-metals, and we have very commonly used 7 commonly used metalloids in the periodic table, right? So these are the basic distribution of elements in the periodic table that you need to know, and every element has its own atoms, and the smallest particle of that element is known as atom, right? If you just draw the basic structure of any atom, so it will be like this. In the center, we have nucleus. In the center, we have nucleus, and in the nucleus, we have protons and neutrons present. These are subatomic particles, right? Subatomic particles means the particles present in the atom, right? So atom is definitely smallest, but we have further particles in the atom that are protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons, and these are actually neutrons. That are the particles present in the atom. Then we have shells. These are what, Bacho? These are shells, or you can even call them orbits, right? And in these orbits, the electrons are going to be revolved. In the first shell, there are always 2 electrons present. In the second shell, we have maximum 8 electrons that can be present in the second shell. So these are electrons, right, Bacho? Is that clear?
Yes.
Any problem
Yes.
to any one of you?
No.
Okay. So, Bacha, you can take a picture of this. So it will be helpful for you after the class. You can make notes of this, right? Just take a picture of this. Done, Bacho?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. So if I just want to draw the structure of these particles, I just want to make a table over here for you. Let's draw a table. These are subatomic particles, right? And along with the subatomic particles, we just need to show their representation, their presence, and all things of these subatomic particles, right? So we have subatomic particles, we have their representations, we have their relative masses, we have their relative charges, we have their presence, abundance, right? These are the things that we need to know about these elements, these subatomic particles. So let's see, Bacho, what I'm going to draw over here. I just need to talk about the subatomic particles. Subatomic particles, right? And we know that we have 3 subatomic particles: protons, electrons, and neutrons. These are the 3 subatomic particles, right? Then we have their representations, right? If you want to represent them, you need to keep using small alphabets, right? Small p, small e, small n. And if you talk about their relative charges, so you need to keep remember this, that protons are always positive, electrons are always negative, and neutrons are neutral, right? If you talk about relative masses, or suppose we just need to relate the masses of these particles. So if protons are having 1 mass, so electron are always 1/1840 times lesser. इतना छोटा होता है that it will be negligible, ना होने के बराबर. and neutrons are always similar to protons, right? And if you talk about their abundance, their presence, so you need to understand that proton are always in the nucleus, neutron are also in the nucleus, and electrons revolve in the shells, right, Bacho?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is always fixed, that you need to remember this. You just need to learn this, right? It is always fixed. It is not going to change anymore. It is always be like this. If someone asks you what is the mass of electron, you need to say that it is negligible. We are not going to talk about the mass of electron because it is very, very smaller. It's negligible. It is 1/1840 times lesser than the mass of proton. If someone asks you what is the charge on protons, you need to keep remember this. It is always positive, right? One is just need to show you the magnitude of that positive charge. It is always positive, +1, right? So this is always fixed. You don't need to worry about that. It is not going to be changed. Now, from the 118 elements of the periodic table, I just take out one from of that, right? 118 element में से मैंने एक उसमें से निकाला और यहाँ लिख दिया. वो मैंने कौन सा लिखा? Sodium. So when I just write sodium over here, you will find this in the periodic table like this. You'll find this in the periodic table like this. So you just need to remember this, that what are these values? Why these are written over there? So what is this? This is nucleon number. This is what, bacho? This is nucleon number, right? This is also known as atomic mass. You can call this as atomic mass, or you can call this as mass number, right? And what is this? This is what? Atomic number. This is actually what? Atomic number, or you can even call this as proton number, right? And what is this? This is chemical symbol. This is what? Chemical symbol, the short representation of elements, right? This is a short representation of elements, right? Rather than writing a capital or complete name of sodium, we are just using two words, Na. It is very helpful in the equations. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to write the equation with the names. It will be time taking, and it will be, you can say that, the space having, right? So that is why we're just writing small letters or small alphabet for them. So this has short representation of elements, right? Now, the biggest problem for the students are this. For suppose, if I write over there, there's one more element, and this will be like, I just use another element over here, right? And I just use these two numbers. So now it is difficult for you, which is proton number and which is the mass number. So आप कह सकते हैं, सर आपने तो ऊपर वाला proton number बोला था, तो ऊपर वाला ये भी proton number होगा. No, you just need to keep remember, बच्चों, that proton number is always the smaller value. Proton number is always the smaller value. You just need to keep remember, right? For example, if I write this on the top, or if I write this on the bottom, or if I write on the right hand side, or if I write on the left hand side, you just need to keep remember the smaller value is always proton number, right? And this one should be then nucleon number. Is that right, Bacho?
Yes.
Now, Bacho, chemistry is very easy. The word, the name of the name is actually going to define the definition. If you focus over there, so what is proton number? It is telling you the definition. Proton number, it is telling you the definition. It is telling you that it is what? It is actually the number of protons. It is actually what? This is actually the number of protons present in the nucleus. We know that protons are present in the nucleus now. So you can say that it is actually the number of protons present in the nucleus. And we know that nucleus is present in an atom. So you can say that the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. What is proton number? Proton number is actually telling you the number of protons present in the nucleus. Is that right, Bacho?
Yes.
Yes.
And also
Yes.
you can see over here there is not positive or not even negative present over there on sodium or on any element in the periodic table. They are always like without charges. They are not positive and they are not even negative. So they are neutral. They are neutral. They are electrically neutral. They are electrically neutral. If someone or any species or any substance is going to be neutral, so it shows that the positive and the negative over there will be same, right? If something is neutral, it means that positive and negative over there are same. So you can say that, sir, there should be same number of protons and electrons. That is why the atom is neutral. The positive and negative ions are same over there. Is that right, Bacho?
Yes.
Yes.
And what is nucleon number? Bacho, proton is something different. Proton is something different. Neutrons are something different. We know that protons are positive and neutrons are neutral. So they both are different things. They both are different things. If you talk about boys in the class, so boys are the different gender. And if you talk about girls in the class, so they are different gender. They both are completely opposite to each other. Same as it is, protons and neutrons are completely opposite to each other. But if I want to name boys and girls combinedly, so I call their students, right? If I want to just ask every one of you a question, so I ask, yes, students, can you please tell me the answer? So I'm just using the word students for the combined name of girls and boys. So same as it is, the combined name of protons and neutrons is nucleons, right, Bacho?
Yes.
So what should be the definition of nucleon number? The definition of nucleon number should be, it is the sum of protons and neutrons. It is the sum of protons and neutrons. It is the sum of protons and neutrons. And we know that they are present in the nucleus. So this is a sum of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus. Right, Bacho?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the thing that you need to keep remember, right? Now it's quite easier for you to find out the number of electron, proton, and neutrons over there. Just look at over there. So this is quite easy for you. How can you find it out? You can see this. What is the proton number? It is 11. So you can simply say that, sir, in the sodium we have 11 protons. And we know that in a neutral atom, there is always the same number of positive and negative charges. So also the electrons are 11, right? If you talk about neutrons, so we know that the smaller one is only protons and the capital one is actually the sum of protons and neutrons. So if we subtract the smaller one from the capital one, it will tell you the number of neutrons. So you can see this 23 minus 11 will give you the neutrons only, right, Bacho?
Yes.
And same over here, there should be 19 protons, right? And the electrons are also equal, so it will be 19. And if you talk about neutrons, so it will be 39 minus 19 will give you 20 neutrons, right, Bacho?
Yes.
And maybe you are familiar about the word electronic configuration. Yes, Bacho, are you familiar about this word, electronic configuration?
Yes.
It is actually what? It is the way of filling electrons in the shell. This is actually the way or the process or the phenomena by filling electrons in the shells. So you need to keep remember that the first shell always have capacity of 2 electrons. That first shell have a capacity of 2 electron always, right?
Okay.
Then we have 11 electrons actually. We have 11 electron actually, and first shell can only have 2 electrons. So we should have the second shell as well. Once we have second shell, so it has a capacity of 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total electrons कितने हो गए बच्चों? 10. पहले शेल में 2 आ गए, दूसरे में 8 आ गए. So we have 10 electrons total in number, but still we have 1 electron left because we have 11 electrons in the sodium. We just filled two shells, first shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, we still have 1 electron remain. So this will be filled in the third shell. Is that clear, Bachu?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You can even write down in numbers as well. It should be first shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, and third shell have 1 electron. You can even fill like this, right? And if you talk about potassium, so it will be same again. First shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, second के बाद आ गया third shell. It can also contain maximum 8 electrons, and then we need to use fourth shell as well for the complete electrons. We have 19 electrons, first 2, second 8, third 8, and then 1. This is the sum of 19 electrons. The first shell 2, second shell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and third shell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 19. Is that clear, Bachu?
Yes.
Okay, so just take a picture of this and have some skill test with you. A skill test means your practice, all right? You need to show me you're working now. If I gave you magnesium 12, 24, if I gave you Bacho aluminum 13, 27, if I gave you Bacho calcium 20 and 40, if I gave you these 6, or if I gave you these 3 elements, the atoms of these 3 elements, so what you need to do? But you need to find out proton, electron, neutron. You need to draw the structure, and also write the electronic configuration in words. Right, Bacho?
Okay.
So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to do 5 things of each atom, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things of each one. This one, this one, and this one. And I'm writing my number on the screen, so you can message me, or you can even message on the group as well. You can find out the number from there as well, or you can message me directly on my WhatsApp so I can check you are getting the things or not, right? Just do it quick.